This is Don't Panic, episode number 273, recorded April 27th, 2020, right at your fingertips. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two guys, one of whom has a working computer. It is Dan Miller. Also, Colby's here. What's up, folks?
Calling an audible. Changing location.
Colby, where are you calling in from as our correspondent here?
As our correspondent, this is my living room. It's darker. I can make it brighter in a second.
You know what?
Can you do that by talking to something, Colby?
What?
Can you make the living room brighter by talking to something?
Sure. Maybe. Hey Siri, turn on all the lights.
Okay.
Hey!
Ooh, swanky.
It worked. I didn't know what was going to happen.
You know, you walking around your house there, for some bizarre reason, it reminded me of just one of my favorite things, which is local news. I know you guys, you're millennials, you don't watch local news, but small town local news is fantastic because they have to brag every time they get some new gadget. So it was like when they got a drone, it was like introducing the Skydrone 3000, and it's like it's sponsored and it's this whole thing. Well, one of my local stations just got their mobile, what is it? It's the first warning weather vehicle, right? And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, it's got to be like a Doppler radar on a trailer. It's got to be like, a tricked out. No, it's just like a Ford Explorer that when it's raining, they drive around and broadcast from the Ford Explorer. And they're like, it's still raining out here. Looks like it's pretty wet.
Amazing.
And like they had a commercial for the car. They're like, introduce the cutting edge of weather technology. The first warning weather response vehicle. Sponsored by Freihofers. It was great. It was great. I love those kind of things. So we got to get something like that for our show.
We could call it the Panic Mobile.
Hey, there you go.
Panic wagon.
The
Panic wagon.
Well, as the only one of us with a car, I'm happy to take on that challenge. I did look, I told you on the show, I did look into getting Don't Panic custom license plates. And if it wasn't so expensive, I would have done it.
How much does it cost to get a custom license plate?
So I looked when I was in Texas. So I don't know what it is in Mass, but in Texas it's like $150 a year. Every year you have the plates.
That seems unreasonable.
Like there's a renewal fee every year. Like it's not just
That's
a one-time
crazy.
thing. It was outrageous. And by the way, I saw way less in Texas than I ever did up here in terms of custom plates. Probably.
Maybe it's really cheap here. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I should have looked when I came back up. The issue is Texas, I think, has more letters on their plates because Massachusetts is primarily 6, and I think Texas is like 7. And I couldn't figure out a way to shrink Don't Panic down to 6 characters. Because it was going to be... What did I come up with? It was going to be like DNTPNIC. But then if
Don't
you do...
picnic.
And that's what it was. But then if you go like PNC to get to 6, it's like Don't Panic. Like, it wasn't going to fly. It wasn't going to fly. I gave up on that. Then I realized I needed a hobby. What's going on with you gentlemen? What's hot? What's crack-a-lackin'?
Well, my computer doesn't work. That's not true. I have an old-timey Apple Cinema display that I've had for, I don't know, years? At least 6 years. Maybe more than that. It works fine. So as a person who's stuck working from home, I shelled out whatever, like $50 for a Thunderbolt to USB-C dongle. And when I connect the dongle, it worked for one day. For one day, it worked perfectly. And now when I connect the dongle, every 5 to 10 minutes, it just disconnects. Which everyone, I suspect, the entirety of the internet, it's been recorded for posterity. recorded, and like all the things that are plugged into the monitor disconnect from my computer, and like it switches all the audio stuff. So I don't know. I give up.
I will say that the pro and the con of USB-C, man. On one hand, man, I conned my company into buying me a $250 Thunderbolt dock for my new Mac they bought me. Holy
Nice.
shit, is that thing awesome. You just that one cord, and then it's like the whole thing lights up, and it's like, oh my god, Ethernet, monitors, keyboards, all this external hard drive. It's great. But then, like, when I don't have that dock because it's at my desk, then it's super inconvenient.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do about it. My solution so far has been to not use my desk or my monitor, and I just like sit slouched on the couch while I work all day.
Couch slash.
Yeah, which is not great for my wrists.
Ooh. Yeah, the ergonomics on that are
Not ideal.
not great.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Well, for most of 2 weeks, I couldn't use my left hand I could use it to do simple things, but it was pretty useless to use for typing. So I was experimenting and typing with one hand is terrible because like you're basically there's no optimization beyond pecking because oftentimes the case that the next letter in a word by design is far away from like where the current letter is.
I will say, I worked with somebody once who only typed with one hand, and she would do it in a way where she used all five fingers, where it would be like pinky finger, and like she somehow managed to span the entire keyboard with her hand, and typed unbelievably fast that way.
Is she a pianist?
That, you know what? That's a really good question. I don't think so, but maybe you're right. Maybe that has something to do. I mean, because I asked her, I'm like, I've never seen anyone type like that, and she goes, "That's just how I learned to do it. That's how I've done it my whole life." And I mean, could go. It was crazy.
I mean, like looking, I could see how it's possible. Like my hand, like I can reach most of the keys with my like pinky and thumb.
This keyboard. This is easy.
Oh well, yeah, because you got
So the only really exciting tech thing once I did start to work again was I experimented with alternate input mechanisms. I will paste a YouTube video which pretty much sums up my attempts to use speech recognition to write code. That was a complete disaster. But speech recognition works pretty well for things that resemble human language. What was good for code was writing it with the Apple Pencil on the iPad, copying it to the iPad keyboard, and then pasting it using the Air Paste. There's some word for that. The iCloud clipboard. Pasting it in. Some stuff would be fucked up, and then you use the arrow keys and like fix the little one-offs. But it was crazy. It was a completely different way to think about the world.
You were coding with your paintbrush.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You spend a lot more time writing because you're like, I don't want to have to copy this thing and paste it and like fix I'm just going to keep going. And you don't spend any time testing. But then as a result of that, you spend a lot more time thinking. You're like, oh, God, I really don't want to have to copy and paste this. So let me really think about this and make sure that it's right.
High stakes.
I feel like you're one step away from that movie thing where you just take like a black Expo marker and go on your window and just start like writing formulas on a window.
Honestly, yeah, this is like, the VR thing would have been awesome for this. But we're not there yet. Anyways, watch this video when you get a chance. It's very, very funny. It'll be in show notes, maybe? Might be in show notes. Here, maybe. I'll paste it in.
Thank you. Yes, if you put in the sheet, I'll hopefully remember. I don't remember anything we talk about on these shows, to be completely honest. I literally, because when I go back later, I re-record the little, like, coming up on tonight's episode, and I have to, like, re-watch, like, so I have to scrub through the video to, like, remember what we talked about. So these shows have a big impact on me, is what I'm saying.
Fair enough. Are you still, Dan? Are you still hindered while typing?
I'm certainly hindered. I can do like this.
Yeah. Oh
Ring
yeah.
finger down.
Yeah, for those not watching the video, Dan's hand. Imagine your hand went through a wood chipper. That's sort of like what Dan's hand looks like.
No, it's not that bad. I
Like
forgot though that you got a nice down the barrel shot there, and I held it. It's
Yeah,
their first time.
we're gonna
being
blur that
exposed
for the
to air.
children. Make sure no one needs to see that. Viewer discretion is advised.
But yeah, no active bleeding since Sunday.
That's good.
Or since Saturday rather, which is very exciting.
Nice. This was a podcast related accident, right?
It sure was. If it weren't for you, it wouldn't have happened.
Damn it.
Not worth it.
Yep, I wouldn't have been making a cocktail. I wouldn't have been trying to get a little nice orange slice with my brand new vegetable peeler. It's all your fault.
You know, you just gave me a really good idea, Dan, and not because I want to watch you get injured more. We should definitely do a thing where we like pre-select a cocktail, and the three of us make the same cocktail, and see if we all make a good cocktail. Like, I don't know why I never thought of that.
But I feel like, if you're given a cocktail recipe, which is basically what it means, like if you were to say, "Oh, make a Manhattan," like there's the way that you make a Manhattan, it'll all kind of come out tasting the same.
It should.
It should. I feel like it could be more interesting, but I don't know. It's difficult to judge these things remotely. It might be more interesting to say, make a drink with X.
Oh, I have a little creative challenge.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
We could also, I feel like a more easily digitized thing would be a dish challenge. Like everyone make macaroni and cheese and take a picture of it, because you can tell a lot about food from the photo.
I mean, Matt and I famously had the macaroon challenge on Up for Debate. That Matt came in second with a did not finish. So
incomplete.
Which I'm jazzed for another cook-off. So you name the time and the place, I'll be there.
Okay. Let me give this some thought.
Maybe we should do something where we can send the results to each other.
Oh, see, my big push for Matt was in version 2 of the macaroon challenge. Whatever we choose, you have to be able to make it start to finish in an hour, and we have to do it while on the call, and actually do the show while cooking, and see if you can complete it in the time allowed, and do it in real time. That was my pitch to him, and he wasn't so hot on that, knowing how Matt cooks. So.
I like that.
Not great. Did I tell you guys I made 5 lasagnas the other day?
Wow, no.
Yeah, I made 4 giant trays of lasagna to bring to all of my quarantine family members. But the thing is, I had never made lasagna before.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened to the
do a trial run before?
No. No, I did not. No. What I learned was, and Dan, you kind of got it right, where if you make one, like, you make the right amount of stuff for one. But when you make it in bulk, you have to, know, okay, all this ricotta, 1/5 of it should go in each. And so when I got to the last one, I was short on most things. So that was the one I kept and ate. I was very generous to everybody else.
Oh, that's good.
That's very nice.
Yep.
I wish that I had some of your lasagna.
You know what? It honestly wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad, but it took me 4 hours to make all of them. It was way too much work. I don't recommend it.
But what else are you gonna do?
Well, that was kind of my point. Was it's like, oh, and I get to go and wear my mask and gloves and deliver it to all my stuck-at-home family members. How fun! Have you guys been out and about wearing masks at all? I feel like everyone slowly got on board with masks.
Yeah, I mask up when I leave the house. I don't go anywhere though. Exactly. I just walk around. I've found that almost everything I need I can get delivered to my apartment. So
Damn.
Really?
except paper towels, but I haven't run out of paper towels yet.
So you haven't had any trouble getting the grocery deliveries or anything?
Well, I mean, I've had trouble. Like, it's not like I get them on the first try. But I found, like, staying up till midnight is pretty reliable.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is fine because I stay up till midnight regularly anyways. Yeah. And then I got booze delivered for the first time, which was a good experience.
Now, was that through some normal times app, or was that a coronavirus innovation in the Boston area?
No, it was Drizzly, which
Oh, okay.
existed before. Yeah. It's basically like, I don't know. It's like Uber Eats or something. You just like pick a liquor store and like, or Instacart. Like you pick the store and you just like order from them.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been to a store. I don't even know what it's like out there.
That's nice.
I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
it's a bummer. I used to love running errands. Like that was one of my like favorite activities because it was just mindless and you just kind of go and do it. And I enjoyed it. And man, it's sad. Everyone's in their masks and there's like glass between you and the cashier. And like,
Oh, weird.
nobody wants to touch anything. And all the aisles are one way, but then people ignore it and then people get mad at each other. And it's just a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, all those post-apocalypse movies looked so fun. You know?
This isn't exciting as we were
You
as
know?
we were led to believe.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just a bummer.
Well, I don't know. We have to talk about something happy now.
How about some tech news?
That's at least neutral.
Well, there might be some good news in here. Who knows? While you guys are perusing the stories in the rundown, I want to thank everybody who's watching us live right now at Facebook.com/Don't Panic Show. We're live Monday nights at a little after 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check us out there. And if you are watching live, be sure to comment in the chat. We keep an eye on that throughout the show. We might mention your comment on the air. All right, guys. Story numero uno. Where are we going to begin? In a mediocre week for tech news.
A mediocre 2 weeks.
That's the bigger problem. I was like, even over 2 weeks, this is kind of what's hot. Yeah, not much.
What's cracking? Sorry, I'm just looking at the links.
I was trying to buy you some time, but I talked too fast. So
You really rattled that off.
I was flying. Well, while you guys continue to peruse the stories, why don't I mention to folks over at UpForDebate.tv, we've got a brand new episode up. We didn't do one last week. That wasn't feeling good. But the week before, we did a live commentary track to 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, available now on Netflix. The first ever live commentary track we've done.
I watched I did the thing with your live commentary track. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a movie I have not thought about in many years, but I have definitely seen several times as a child. It was pretty fun. So a thing that tripped me up, like I started doing it. I like waited for your signal. I started the show. Started your podcast. I was listening and like something happened, like something went off on my phone and like it stopped the podcast. So it was like, so it got all out of sync or whatever, but I got back on track. And then I was like all of a sudden it was like you guys were ahead somehow. And I was like, this hasn't happened. Like they just talked about this thing that happened. I was like, what is going on? And I realized that I had the smart speed thing on Overcast.
I love that. That's awesome.
That was very, very tricky.
That is
so
great.
yeah, you should have a disclaimer for that.
Turn off your smart speed. That's great. I didn't even think of that. That's fantastic. Yeah, we used it was an app called MetaStream, which was really awesome because it queued up. So Matt and I were watching it at the exact same time over Netflix, which is awesome. I've got a few ideas percolating in my head for how we can use that technology for other things. So that was a lot of fun. So glad you enjoyed it. folks should definitely check that out. All right.
All right, let's do co-op crosswords.
Co-op crosswords. I thought this was fun. Folks are out there looking for things to do in these times. The New Yorker has added a feature to its online puzzles. It's co-op for crosswords. They call it co-solving. To start co-solving, you just need to open up one of the New Yorker's crosswords, click the partner mode text, log in or make an account, and once you're logged in and you click that text, you'll see a prompt with a button to copy a link to the crossword you can send to a friend. When your friend clicks on that link, you'll both be able to work on the puzzle together, hence co-solving. You'll be able to tap or click around and solve it at the same time. As soon as you fill in an answer, it shows up immediately on the other person's screen.
Are you a crossworder, Sean?
No. I'm honest, I'm a Sudoku guy. I really am. The issue with crosswords is they make me feel dumb. And I don't like that. Like, I'm more of like the word search kind of Sudoku guy where it's I don't know enough to do crosswords, unfortunately.
Interesting. Colby,
Yeah.
are you a crossword person?
I mean, I've dabbled in the crossword arts. I feel like I may have picked a crossword related thing on the show before. It's not something that, I don't know. It's hard. It really is
really hard.
The tricky so the New York Times ones, like, they get harder as the week goes on. So like Monday, super achievable. You feel really good about yourself on Monday. But like by the time Thursday rolls around, like, I can't even do that. Like, I can't even finish half the puzzle. Never mind the whole thing. And like the Sunday ones, oh my God. Just wreck you.
Yeah, I've tried crosswords multiple times. I have no enthusiasm for it. But I'm happy for the people who can now play with their friends.
But I do think co-op crossword is fun, because what do you do when you're doing a crossword is you go to the person next to you, hey, and I actually just happened to pull up a New Yorker crossword puzzle here, but it's, it's 3 letters, out for the day, comma, say.
How do they comma say?
It's not out.
Well, oh, it is out. Oh, no, I don't
Is
know.
it really out? It can't be out. That'd be crazy.
Well, they didn't stop me. Let me see if I type.
Do they use?
Oh no, they let you type in the wrong things. So that's.
I was going to say,
not right.
is it kosher to use the clue to use the answer in the clue? That would seem to me to be.
Yeah, it's not out. I checked.
Yeah.
Or how about this? It is 7 letters across. Party favor.
Like I said, I'm so bad at these.
I know.
Oh, gift bag.
All right.
God, see.
But Colby's
That's
also
pretty-
really good at, and this is the nothing really frustrates me about Colby more than the fact of how good he is at Scrabble. I absolutely hate it.
I didn't know this.
Oh my God, it's annoying. Don't ever play Scrabble with him. It's not fun.
I don't even know why. Like, I don't know how that happened. I didn't play a lot of Scrabble, and I don't think I've played a lot of Scrabble.
7 letters across for party favor was swag bag.
Swag bag. I mean, I was on the right track.
Yeah, this isn't going in our direction. Yeah, so there you go. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do a co-op crossword sometime.
Now, can you do more? Is it 2 people only, or is it like as many people as you want?
This article doesn't specifically answer that question. It does say that the New Yorker does limit your free articles a month, so you're probably going to want to be a paid subscriber at some point. But it doesn't say that it's explicitly 2. But it is called partner mode.
Mm.
So, here we go. Here's the full press release. And it is, unsurprisingly, like the New Yorker, very wordy. Yeah, they make it really sound like it's just one other person.
Oh. I guess that's
You want like
okay.
8-player co-op?
We can
Yeah.
stream it on Twitch. Twitch plays crossword.
That's not the worst idea.
I
I want to see him. Where they have the goldfish playing the games. I want to see him do that with a crossword.
forgot about the goldfish.
That was big. That was huge for 5 minutes.
I don't know what that one.
You know, when Twitch plays
hooked
Pokemon.
They hooked up like a visual computer viz model to a goldfish bowl and a camera, and whenever the goldfish moved, it indicated what it should press the buttons on the Game Boy so that it could play Pokemon.
And the goldfish played Pokemon for 20 consecutive hours or something like that. And everyone got really excited.
I remember Twitch plays Pokemon
Right.
when it was like everyone typing in the chat.
Yep.
I don't never heard about the goldfish.
Yep. Similar idea. Great use of everybody's time. All right. Let's see. What else in the rundown is worth talking about?
The rundown.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something.
We can talk about messenger rooms, and we can keep talking about Zoom probably as a result of that.
Yeah, you bet. Zoom has a successful product. Therefore, Facebook is going to take the idea and run with it. By the way, I've been watching. This is slightly off topic, but I'll circle back. I've been watching on ESPN The Last Dance. Have you heard about this?
No.
It's been big on the internet. The content doesn't really matter. It's a documentary about the Bulls winning championships in the 90s, but it's very good. But it's limited commercial interruption with select sponsors. And one of the sponsors is Facebook. But what it says in the voiceover guy, he goes, presented by State Farm, Reese's, and the Facebook company. And I'm like, what? The Facebook company.
The Facebook company. Did they?
I thought they dropped the. That was a major point in the Justin Timberlake movie.
Yeah, isn't that insane? With their new logo, the Facebook company. I mean,
That's so weird.
I was half expecting the Facebook family of products.
Facebook Inc. is the name of the company. Facebook Incorporated.
Yep. And it doesn't say the Facebook company on the screen. It just says Facebook. But the voiceover guy explicitly every time says the Facebook company.
That's so weird.
Yep. And then they put on those commercials for Portal, and you're like, nobody's going to buy this. But hey, maybe they will, because they'll want to do messenger rooms, Dan, as you mentioned. A tool for sharing virtual hangouts with up to 50 people and allowing friends to drop in whenever you like. It will be part of Messenger, unsurprisingly. It will be available in the next few weeks. Up to 50 people can join a call. The room's creator can decide whether it's open to all or to lock it to prevent uninvited guests from joining. You'll be able to start a room from Messenger and Facebook to start, and later rooms will come to Instagram Direct, WhatsApp, and Portal. When you're in the room, you can play with augmented reality filters or swap out your background. Room calls are not end-to-end encrypted, but Facebook says it doesn't view or listen to calls, so take that for what you will. They also announced a couple other collaborative video features. Facebook Live will add back a feature called Live With that enables users to invite another person to their stream. Instagram will begin allowing users to post live streams to IGTV as well as to Instagram stories after they finish. Users with Facebook's portal display will get the ability to go live to pages and groups. And there was one more. What was the one other announcement? And adding video calls to Facebook dating.
Wow.
Which I'm kind of surprised that wasn't there already, but okay.
Well, because I think the idea is you meet up in person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I
And
guess.
that's no
But you wouldn't even
longer
do
on the table.
an introductory call? I don't know. I am the world's worst person to talk about dating, so
Yeah, that's not how any of the other ones work. And I think that, like you were saying, that was all. Facebook dating seems like Facebook also just taking someone else's successful idea, not that it's particularly novel, and copying it.
Yeah.
it's a good business model.
It's worked for them before.
I will say, like, I don't know, maybe this was already in the pipe, but they're remarkably fast at copying things. Having worked at startups, like, they can copy something really quickly.
Well, how many employees do they have these days?
That's a good question.
Over 50,000.
50,000.
You know.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they can copy with the best of them. They just get 10,000 of them to hit Control C, and then the other 10,000 hit Control V. Right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how have you guys been? Have you guys been doing any group video chatting outside of course, this program?
Yeah, mostly on Zoom, because that's what.
Well, I saw an article. They have over 300 million users right now.
Oh, right now. How many did they have before?
I did not see.
Like, all of a sudden, Zoom was my dad knows what Zoom is and how to use it, which is even more startling.
Yep. I just keep going back to the point that I cannot figure out how they're making money with this sudden massive influx of free users.
That's the Silicon Valley dream.
I guess. I mean, but I don't know. I guess you just try and convert them to paid users.
Yeah, right. Zoom's like free. So their free tier like limits the length of your call.
Right. 40 minutes,
So
I
maybe-
think. Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe people pay for it.
And maybe they do. I mean, I think I think Messenger Rooms is certainly going to be a compelling alternative, mainly because it already has your social graph already built in.
It's the only thing Facebook has going for it ever.
Unfortunately, that's what I was doing a training on LinkedIn for some sales reps, and I basically said, LinkedIn sucks. I don't like it. You don't like it. Nobody likes it. But when was the last time you had the white pages? Exactly. They don't make that anymore. When you're looking for somebody, you go to LinkedIn.
That's a good point.
You know, it is your online face. It is your online. They don't go to your Twitter. They don't go to your Facebook. If someone's looking for you in a somewhat professional sense, they go to LinkedIn. That's why you should have a really good LinkedIn profile.
Do you post on your LinkedIn profile?
No, because it's stupid and I hate it. But my profile is built out, and that's what I told the guys. I said, look, I don't care if you're out there posting and liking and commenting, as long as your profile is built out, then the rest is gravy.
Someone suggested to me once that we should publicize this program on LinkedIn.
Oh, I don't
Who
even
is
think I
that?
mentioned it on my profile.
Just a random person. I do have our
Wait, Sean, did I miss some big news? You're no longer at OMG Roofing Products. You're now at Fasten Master.
Yeah, that's the new job I got earlier this year. It's the
I
same
think
parent
that-
company. It's the other division.
Yeah.
What rack have you been under?
an OMG company.
Did you also vegetable peel off part of your memory there?
The Fasten
It's-
Master.
The OMG roofing company.
Yes, the OMG family of companies. Yeah, no, I am a Fasten Master.
Now, I'm noticing here, Sean, your last two jobs, they don't have any descriptions for what you did.
You know, it's actually really interesting. So I used to work with a guy whose this is an interesting story. Whose whole career was competitive intelligence. Used to worked in the military for a while, then in private industry. The stories he would tell me about the hardcore competitive intelligence, even flying to an airport somewhere just to follow and sit behind a competitor eating lunch, just to try and listen in to what they're saying. I mean, really over-the-top spy stuff. And he did some of it. But basically, he kept reminding me and everyone else there that, you know, the less you say, the better, especially about your current job. It's one thing to talk about past jobs because they're in the past, but your current job, you know, people can take that information and use it against you. And you'd be surprised what stupid people Because they say, "Oh, I was responsible for my business $350 million business unit." And it's like, great, now we all know how big your company is. You know, my cat dumped all my index cards all over the floor.
Yes. What's the cat's name again?
Charlie.
Charlie, but that's Sir
Charlie.
Charles to you.
What do you call him? What do you call him when you're mad at him? Like, what's his middle name?
I never get mad at him. No, actually, I really only call him Charlie when I'm mad at him. Usually, or I call him I call him Charlie when I'm mad at him. But usually, it's, "What's up, guy?" Sir Charles, the royalty. He knocked over all my index cards. I mean, these were not in any particular order. My notes on Rocky. We're going to be talking about the Rocky series on an upcoming Up for Debate, which I've never seen. I've never seen them before. I finally watched Rocky.
I've only seen the first one.
What an accomplishment! It was fun.
And then, are the Rambo movies in the same cinematic universe as
No,
Rocky?
they're not, but they should be. I will say, First Blood. I've seen that movie a million times. I love First Blood. That's a great movie.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
What's my war?
Man, now I'm catching up on all my LinkedIn messages.
People like emailing you about jobs and all this. Oh, I probably should have read this earlier.
Maybe I'll go endorse Colby for something.
Well, go look at my profile. We had a competition in my old company to what was the dumbest thing you could endorse somebody for. So I have 3 endorsements for potatoes on mine. That was definitely up there.
It's pretty useful.
Skills and endorsements.
There was a time, right, when the endorsements just showed up on your profile. Like, there was
it was much more flexible. Them. And like I said, you couldn't type in anything, but they had like a list of like a zillion pre-written things, one of them being potatoes. And so we tried to find the dumbest ones in the list, and you could just endorse anyone for anything, and they couldn't do anything about it. Fix that quick.
How do I endorse you for a random ass thing?
They took it away. So what I have to do is I have to set up. So you should be able to endorse me for potatoes because it's already. I have to set it up initially, and then you can endorse me for the things I've already put on there.
Got it.
Now, Sean, I'm looking at your profile right now, and there is. This is not a part of your profile, but right smack dab in the middle of it, it's a big box with it looks like the people you may know box kind of, right? But it's with people, I assume people that I am connected with. It looks like people that I'm connected with. It says, "Who would you go to for questions about Facebook?"
That's what it says for me too.
Yeah, help us identify relevant opportunities and content for your connections.
Yep.
That's so creepy.
Well, I already have 13 endorsements for Facebook, so don't hesitate to pick me.
I just endorsed you for potatoes.
Thank you.
Oh, you are one of the options. But it's using your profile to harvest recommendations for other people.
It's bonkers. LinkedIn is absolutely bonkers.
Do they have no shame?
No.
Is nothing sacred?
It's part of the Microsoft empire.
Oh my God, it is.
Yeah, remember that? That was a thing. Oh, look.
Microsoft owns a lot of stuff.
See, I love this. Who would you... So, Colby, I go to your page. It says, who would you go to for questions about PHP? I don't know what that is, but I'm going to select Colby. Sure, why not?
Amazing. Was Dan an option? Because
Dan was not an option, which was really surprising.
Shit. I know far too much about PHP. I wish I could know less.
Some things you just can't take back.
No.
Look, you can see all of our mutual connections. What a treat. This is great. This is riveting content for the listeners. What is Dan's top skill? Here you go. You ready for this? Is it? They give me 4 options. What is Dan's top skill?
Is this like a quiz?
PowerShell, Windows Server, Microsoft SQL Server, or Windows. I'm going to give him Windows.
What?
I chose Windows. Oh, look, it says, thank you. Your selection will help us identify relevant opportunities for Dan. There you go, Dan. I hope
This
you get
was
some
the
more
4
relevant
options they
opportunities.
gave you?
Yeah.
Windows is tied for my least endorsed skill.
Well, I think that's why they
After
suggested it.
PowerShell, no one's ever endorsed me for PowerShell.
There, I just endorsed you. Now it says, how good is Dan at PowerShell? Good, very good, or highly skilled? I'm going to say very good. How do I know about Dan's PowerShell skills? I heard about Dan's skills from another. It was Dan. This is great. Oh, look, I'm going to endorse you for Splunk. I don't know what that is, but that's pretty cool. I'm going to say you're good at that. I'm going to just wreck your recommendations.
Do it.
Wonderful.
Boy.
Now, I don't know if you're going to understand this, Sean, but I know Colby will. Colby,
Yes.
just guess. I mean, did you see my tweet today? Maybe you both saw my tweet today. Speaking of Windows. Guess how...
I don't.
I did see it, and it was just utterly confusing.
Should I read your tweet?
No, don't read it. Colby, guess how, if you wanted to write a script in Windows that at some point stops for a number of seconds, in Linux we call this sleep. Guess how you do that in Windows?
You turn off your computer.
I mean, that, I guess, would work.
You ping 127.0.0.1. You ping your own computer n number of times, and you make a rough calculation for how many times it will take, how long it will take to ping each time, like, which is pretty much a constant number because it's just going to yourself. And then you use that math and you extrapolate out how many seconds would you have to wait. It just sits there pinging itself, and that's the accepted solution for how you stop doing work in Windows.
Like, there's not even a helper thing that does that for you.
Not that I could find.
That's really weird.
I'll send you my tweet. You can. I cited my source.
That is strange. It's sort of charming in a way.
It's an elegant hack.
Right. Like, deeply.
The more I think
fucked
about
up.
it, it's like kind of ingenious. Like, it's almost like one of those interview questions they would ask you that are complete BS. Like, how would you stop doing work on a computer if there was no sleep function? It's like, oh God, wow. Every other solution is worse. Like, this one doesn't take any CPU. I think it's guaranteed to always complete in the same amount of time, no matter like what computer it runs on. Mostly ish. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways.
Well, I could use some help sleeping, so I'll try this tonight when I go to bed.
Just type ping-n, and then the next thing is a number, and that's how long you want to sleep for. And press enter, and then see what happens.
Because that usually is what happens when I try and go to bed. Is my brain just keeps pinging. It just keeps pinging. That's the problem. Let's see. We've got time for one more quick story. If there's one in here you want to talk about.
Let's talk about new iPhone.
New iPhone. This ain't your granddad's iPhone. This is the iPhone SE. It is a lower-cost iPhone starting at the crisp price of $399. Same basic shape and look as the iPhone 8, and actually they've torn it apart. It basically is an iPhone 8. 4.7-inch screen with the bezels at the top and bottom, home button with Touch ID. However, it does have a beefier processor, the Apple's A13 Bionic chip, which is the same one available in iPhone 11 and 11 Pro models currently. It also has a better camera as well, a single 12 megapixel on the back. It says it's using A13 Bionic's chip to improve the smart HDR photography. It's actually semi-exclusive to the iPhone SE. This technology, you don't need it on the fancier phones with the fancier cameras, but supposedly it actually works pretty well. It uses monocular depth sensing, which sounds made up, but apparently it's machine learning that detects depths and faces. It'll only work on people, not pets, but it will supposedly improve your photos quite a bit. Otherwise, basically, it's an iPhone 8.
I didn't know that about the machine learning thing. It's unique to the iPhone SE. That's cool. Did you see? Have you heard that? I think I don't know how widespread this is, but I've seen some reports among my friends who are not so into technology. They're like, they've seen these like teardowns of the iPhone 8C, and they're like, oh look, it's just the same as the iPhone 8. Don't waste your money on this. When, like, I don't know, compared to a used iPhone 8, I imagine this isn't that much more expensive, and it has a new battery and is slightly better. Because this is $400, which is half the price, if I recall correctly, of an iPhone 8 new, like out of the box. Is that true?
You mean currently or at first launch? What an iPhone 8 would be at launch?
I guess currently. Like, what is the?
Well, let's look at the current iPhone lineup. They don't sell the 8 anymore.
Oh, I don't.
New.
Did that recently get bumped out?
That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know when they stopped doing it.
Yeah, I see on Amazon it's $300 or so.
I mean, I loved my iPhone 8. I thought that was a great phone. I never had any complaints about it. It is interesting to see, there was always this rumor going around of Apple's going to go back to Touch ID at some point. Touch ID, is it going to be in display? Is it going to be what? And Touch ID not going away. I mean, they just put out a new phone with Touch ID.
Yeah, it looks like they continued selling the iPhone 8 until 2 weeks ago.
Oh, and this just replaced it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is easy to do because they just pumped a new processor in there, and that was basically it.
Yeah, I saw they also got rid of 3D Touch before it went out.
Yep.
Yeah, I share everyone's, not everyone, those who mourn the loss of the small phone. I mourn it too. If I could have a no compromise internal specs, the camera, like, I feel like if the compromise was like, hey, you can have a top of the line processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, like all that stuff, all the machine learning stuff, and a smaller form factor, but you sacrifice the camera, I would consider it. Because I think the smaller phone is better. I am heartened by, like, I did some research a couple of months ago. I was talking about this with an Android fanboy, and I was like, yeah, like, they don't make small phones anymore. It's like, they don't make small iPhones anymore. I'm like, no, they don't make, I've never heard of a small phone. And he's like, oh, there must be. And I looked, and you cannot, even, like, iPhone 8 sized is, like, almost impossible to find on Android. Never mind something the size of the old iPhone SE. So, yeah. I wish that someone would make an actually good small phone.
But isn't that the promise of the foldable phone?
But
the small phone that can become a big phone.
No. But on. A foldable phone is by definition thicker.
Yeah, but
I want to just put it in my pants pocket and forget about it.
They have all these whether you flip it open or you slide, it's like it's a this big screen and you pull it, it becomes a that big screen. I mean, does that scratch your itch, or you just really want a small phone?
I haven't had one of those in a while, so I don't know. I feel like, honestly, as much as I make fun of the foldable phones, if I could sacrifice, like, I have the battery case on this, which actually works great. I don't know if I've talked about that.
Oh, is that the official Apple one, or is that a different one?
The official Apple one. I haven't charged it in 2 days, and it's at 76% battery life, which is nice. I've been on Wi-Fi the whole time, of course. Anyways, if like the whole thing, if the phone could be like this size, that would be appealing. Like, I would take thickness, because the problem is really the height and not so much the thickness with, like, pants pockets. And this is for guys, like, never mind, like, women's pants pockets.
I mean, I think we're all on the same page here, Dan. You've just got to get some cargo shorts.
Yeah, maybe those will come back in style. After everyone's been quarantined, they all take out the old cargo shorts and start wearing them again.
Perfect for phones, for your giant-ass phone, for your 6.8-inch screen phone.
They're very practical.
So Dan has cargo shorts, and out of the pocket he pulls an iPad out. It's like, well, you can't be too prepared. Yeah, so there you go. A new addition to the iPhone lineup. Who knows when we'll hear the next new iPhone, so might be a while. Enjoy this while it lasts. Very, very cool. Let's go ahead and move on to picks, which is part of the show where we share something interesting. We've got Cat Jesus. Oh my God, he is.
Have you secured your power button on that computer from this cat?
No, it's still a high risk proposition. You know, it's a little bit of a gamble. I did. You know what I did? Honestly, have to put away. I had to take my dice off the desk because he kept like taking them in his mouth and running away with them. And I'm like, they're just small enough for him to potentially choke on. So I'm like, no, those are being put away. They were getting some dust on them anyway. But anyhow, picks part of the show where we bring something we want to share. We'll go ahead and see what everybody is up to. And we're going to start. I see the word Nintendo. Tell me more, Dan.
So in my convalescence, I've been playing a lot more video games and a lot different kinds of video games because I can only play video games that you can either play one-handed, which props to the Pokemon game. There's a one-handed controller setting that only uses one half of the controller, which is great. But then I beat the crap out of that game because I had nothing better to do. And so then I was like, oh, well, any game that is turn-based, it doesn't matter how long it takes me to peck around on the controller, I can do it. So I returned to a game I had started but kind of got bored with called Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's a strategy game, turn-based. You move your pieces and the other team moves their pieces. That's one half of the game. The other half of the game is like very Japanese anime, like, oh, you run around, you're a professor at this school, and you have tea with your students, which is a little weird. And you go to choir practice, and you garden, and you go fishing, and like all that. And that was what bored me when I was initially playing it. But then, since I have nothing better to do, I realized like, oh, like all of these little activities, you get like extra points and you become a better professor. And when you become a better professor, you teach your students better. When you teach your students better, then they become better soldiers on the battlefield. And then you can win the battles better. And then I was like totally hooked. I was like, okay. I go in every month, in-game month, I buy 50 bait, all the bait you can buy from the guy who sells the bait. And I go fishing. And I fish 50 times. And because each one of those gives you a little bit more professor points. Anyways, if that sounds at all appealing to you, if you like stats and like growing your stats and you like strategy games or like XCOM where you have to place your pieces very precisely and there's a lot of fun scenarios, check out Fire Emblem Three Houses. If that does not sound exciting to you, skip it because it's like a lot of work.
Now, I didn't play Fire Emblem Two Houses. Am I going to be able to follow the story?
Yeah, I've never played any of the other Fire Emblem games either. Okay. So as far as I know, they're not connected in any way, but maybe they are.
All right. Yeah. Just want to be sure.
Fire Emblem Three Houses. Nintendo Switch.
Yes, available for digitally and physically for the Nintendo Switch. Do you guys buy physical games for your Switch? Maybe that's a dumb question.
No, I only bought one. I bought the game, the Zelda game, like concurrently when I bought the Switch, and that happened to be physical, and I haven't bought a single other physical game. I don't remember the last physical PS4 game I owned either.
Yeah.
I think I just have the one that came with the PS4. It was like when I got the PS4, it came with a game. And that was a disc. It was Assassin's Creed Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever.
Oh, maybe I have that one too, because I definitely have that game. Okay.
Cool. Very nice. All right, Coblerone. What do we got here?
Have you guys seen this Grammarly thing yet?
I've seen lots of commercials.
Commercials?
They have TV
that makes
commercials.
Me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh no. This definitely means someone nefarious is harvesting my data. Then
it's a real company.
Yeah, that's not what you want. In any case, Grammarly is it's like a browser plugin that like spell checks your things, like everything, but it's like good spell check that actually works, and it gives you like writing advice if you wanted to do that. But they just made an update recently, like so that where it works, which is many text box many text boxes in your browser, it like autocorrects, and the autocorrect actually works. Like, but it's not like your phone like predictive text. It's like you type something in and then it like rolls in behind you and like will correct your spelling errors. It's kind of cool. When it works, it's nice. It usually doesn't do the wrong thing, which I appreciate. Usually.
Cool.
But now I'm very uncomfortable that they have TV commercials. That makes me not want to use it.
Yeah, well, and I know we didn't talk about it on the show, but Microsoft is introducing a new feature. I think it's called Microsoft Editor or something like that essentially rips this off inside of Word and Office 365. One of the features because I have been wanting to try it, I saw the TV commercials, and one of the they worked. But one of the things I'm really interested in is they have a tone detector. I am famous for writing emails I think come off one way and do not come off that way. Usually it's like, Sean, that was really harsh, and I'm like, I didn't think it was. So I wonder if this could help me detect the tone of my emails before I send them.
It certainly purports to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Famous last words. Hey, this is cool. Grammarly.com. Give it a shot. Play around with it. What's the worst that could happen? You sound smarter? Very cool. All right, I'll take us home here. I've professed on the show many times my love for the Wyze company. I bragged about their $20 security cameras. I know their smart plugs were just named the Wirecutter pick for smart plugs. They overtook the Wemo, which was really interesting. But they rolled out a new product, a smart scale for like your body weight. And I've always wanted a smart scale, but I was not paying whatever the $99 or whatever Y things was charging you. And they came out with a $20 smart scale.
That's crazy.
Whoa!
Like Colby said, that's suspicious.
Right. What's the catch?
What's the catch? And the catch is it's a solid product, but not an amazing product. I got one. They had an early backers round, and I picked one up. They're currently out of stock because they sold out of that first round. But basically, I mean, it's a smart scale. It measures your weight. They say it measures 12 different metrics because it does this insane technology that I've Googled and the majority of experts don't think works that well, called bioelectric impedance analysis, where basically they put an electric current through your body, a very mild one, you don't even feel it, and it gives you a bunch of like insane stats, like how much sodium is in your body and how much do your bones weigh, which is really bonkers when you think about it that way. But it collects all that, and so I've got it in my bathroom. I stand on it every day. The only real downside is it's Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi, and by that I mean it'll sync and store your weight every day, but until you actually manually open the app, it won't sync your data, which is kind of annoying. But it syncs it with Apple Health, and they give you like I shouldn't reveal this information about me, but it says here I have 8.1 pounds of bone mass, and my body is 53.4% water. Like, how do they know that? Science, man.
8 pounds doesn't seem like a lot for like all the bones in your body.
But then
it seems like you should have more.
But bones aren't that. But then my muscle mass, ladies, 123 pounds. I mean, I'm packing on the muscle, man. I won't tell you my body fat percentage or my BMI, which is not great. But what's great is they give you the little charts and you can see how you're doing over time. I don't know. It's more of a, do you need it? No, but for $20, I say you get your money's worth out of it. You know, it works. It tells you your weight. It records it, puts it in Apple Health. You gotta open the app once in a while, but that's not too bad. So when it becomes available, I recommend it. Oh, and the other cool thing it does, I don't use it, but you can register multiple people on your scale. And then because you probably weigh quite a different amount than the other people in your home, it'll know like, oh, Dan stepped on it because he's didn't gain 50 pounds this past day.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, exactly. So Wyze, Wyze.com, WYZE.com, and check out the Wyze scale when it becomes back in stock. Superb. Gentlemen, anything else? Any parting thoughts?
No, I'm pumped about this scale. Like for $20.
That was my thing, where it was like, even if it sucks, just to like the gimmick of $20 is, and I give these guys credit. They've really figured out the price point, because it was like $10. I'm like, that's suspicious, and at like $35-$40, I'm like, maybe not, but like $20 is just the right amount to like, I'll put in 20 on that.
Got him.
Yep. So the Wise stuff, I've been very happy with them over the years. So I got some trust in them. Super. Well, that's wonderful. Well, thanks everybody out there for joining us. What a wonderful time we've had here this evening. Of course, you can go to our website, don'tpanic.io, and get all the past episodes, the audio, the video. The links to the picks will be there as well. In case you didn't remember them already, you're going to say, was it a burning insignia 4 homes? No, it's Fire Emblem 3 houses. It's going to be right there on the website for you. You can also subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts, with the video version on YouTube as well. And of course, you can get in touch with us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter, and emails don'tpanicshow@gmail.com is all of the info. I got to get us like a physical PO box at some point, and people can send us crap.
Okay, if you want to do that.
I'm not giving them my address. I know that. We gotta.
Could be fun.
And by the way, and this is an embarrassing thing, because I haven't figured out how to do it, I still have not canceled and continue to pay for the phone line we don't use anymore. How long has it been since the phone line was active? And I still pay for it because I cannot for the life of me figure out through Skype how to cancel it. And they bill me every 3 months, so I like just forget.
Right.
You need to give them a little credit card chargeback there.
Well, but you know what? And I joke about it, but what's really great about the phone number is one of the 4 times each year Matt's computer just gives up and he calls in by phone, like he did on the Ninja Turtles episode. I'm glad I have the phone number because he can call in on it. So I'll probably keep it for just that. But
amazing.
Yeah, so if people want to call and leave us a voicemail, I think it's 508-644-TECH is the number, if I'm remembering that correctly.
It's on the website.
I still get those voicemails. I mean, it's still active, so leave us a voicemail. Yep. We'll play it on the show. Well, that's going to do it for us here. We're going to be back next Monday with more tech news and fun times. So on behalf of Colby and Dan, I am Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time for another Don't Panic.